You are standing at airport security at 6:15 in the morning. Your shoes are off. Your bin is moving. Then your carry-on stops. Inside are heart pills, insulin supplies, and a weekly pill organizer filled for the trip. You have the prescription. You did everything right, except the officer cannot quickly tell what every pill is, what needs to stay cold, or whether the loose tablets match the label. That is the trap. TSA screening, customs inspection, and foreign medication laws are 3 different checkpoints. Before we get to the country rule mistake that catches even experienced travelers, we need to fix the assumption that causes most medication problems at the airport. Here is the rule most travelers overcomplicate. TSA generally allows solid medications in your carry-on. It also allows medically necessary liquids, gels, syringes, ice packs, and supplies, even when they are over the usual liquid limit. But allowed does not mean ignored. An officer may still swab the container, ask what it is, separate it for inspection, or call a supervisor. That is not automatically a problem. It becomes a problem when your medicine looks random, unlabeled, excessive, or hard to explain. And no, TSA does not require every pill to be in its original prescription bottle. But original labeled containers are strongly recommended, especially when customs or another country's laws enter the picture. So the goal is simple. Make medication obvious, documented, accessible, and lawful for every country on your route. The first mistake is the one that can leave you stranded even if nobody at security objects to your medicine. The mistake is putting the medicine you cannot skip into the bag you do not control. A checked suitcase can miss a connection. A gate agent can take your roller bag at the aircraft door. A storm can leave your luggage in Dallas while you sleep in a hotel near Newark. TSA may have done nothing wrong, and the airline may still need a full night to return it. That becomes serious fast if the bag holds blood pressure pills, insulin supplies, seizure medication, an inhaler, or the only backup dose you packed. The better system is simple. Keep daily essentials, emergency medication, injectable supplies, cooling packs, and a reasonable extra supply in the personal item that fits under the seat, not just the carry-on bin. With you, if an airline says a bag must be checked, remove the medication first. If anyone questions why, say, "These are my medically necessary medications and I need to keep them with me during the flight." Access matters more than convenience, but keeping medicine with you only helps if the officer can tell what it is. Now picture that personal item at the security table. Inside is a plastic weekly pill organizer, Monday through Sunday. Several white tablets, 2 blue capsules, 1 half pill, and no label anywhere nearby. In the United States, that organizer is usually allowed through Transportation Security Administration screening. The problem is not the box. The problem is mystery. A white round tablet could be a blood pressure medicine. It could also look like something controlled. A capsule separated from its bottle loses the name, the dose, the prescribing doctor, and the pharmacy that filled it. If a customs officer overseas cannot identify it quickly, your valid prescription can still turn into questions, delay, or confiscation. The safer method is to keep proof close. For domestic travel, carry photos of the prescription labels, pharmacy printouts, or a medication list with brand and generic names. For international trips, use original labeled containers when possible, or ask the pharmacist for smaller labeled travel bottles. If asked, keep it simple. These pills are my prescribed medications, and I have the prescription labels and medication list here. The next packing mistake looks small, but it is the one that collides with the famous 3-1-1 liquid rule. The liquid rule is where many careful travelers get surprised. A bottle of nutrition formula, a tube of prescription cream, insulin, eye drops, or liquid pain medicine may be medically necessary. In the United States, those items are not treated the same as shampoo in a quart-size bag. They can be over 3.4 ounces. But they cannot look like forgotten toiletries. If the bottle is buried under toothpaste, face wash, and aftershave, and you say nothing before the x-ray, the officer has to stop and figure out what it is. That can mean a bag search, testing, extra questions, or a delay while your medication sits on the table. Pack these items separately. Keep prescription labels visible. If the medicine needs to stay cold, place the ice packs or gel packs with it, not loose in another pocket. Before travel, ask the pharmacist or prescriber what temperature range matters. At the checkpoint, say it early. I have medically necessary liquid medication and cooling packs that need separate screening. And remember, those are United States procedures. Canada, foreign airports, and connecting countries may handle screening differently. Liquids can be explained with a simple sentence, but needles and injectable medicines need an extra layer of clarity. Needles change the conversation. An insulin pen in one pocket, lancets in a side pouch, syringes in a toiletry kit, and an epinephrine auto-injector loose in a purse can all be legitimate. But on the X-ray belt, scattered sharps do not tell a medical story. They look like separate objects that need separate explanations. Pack the whole system together. Keep the injectable medication, pen needles or syringes, alcohol swabs, glucose tablets if you use insulin, cooling supplies, and a small sharps container or safe disposal plan in the same carry-on section. Leave prescription labels visible. If you use an injectable arthritis medication or an epinephrine auto-injector, keep the box or pharmacy label when possible. Then make the purpose easy to hear. Say, "These needles are for my prescribed injectable medication," which is packed here with the prescription label. For international trips, or if the medicine is controlled, carry a doctor's medication letter. Disposal rules, device screening, and foreign import rules can differ. Even when every item is labeled, the amount you carry can raise the next question. A 3-week trip does not usually need 6 months of pills. That is where a valid prescription can still create a problem. At airport security, officers may only be checking whether the medicine can fly. But at customs, especially after you land, the question changes. They are looking at import rules, quantity limits, and whether the supply looks like personal use. The safer pattern is simple: bring enough for the trip, plus a reasonable backup for delays. Several extra days often make sense. You are traveling longer? Ask your insurer, pharmacist, or prescriber about a vacation override, so the larger refill has a clear paper trail. Keep the explanation just as clear. Carry the prescription, pharmacy receipt if you have it, and a medication list. Say, "This is my personal medication supply for my trip, including extra doses in case of travel delays." But check the destination before you pack. Some countries limit medicine to 30 days, 90 days, or require permits. Now comes the mistake that can turn a routine prescription into a legal problem simply because the plane lands somewhere else. A legal bottle in Phoenix can become a controlled substance problem in Tokyo, Dubai, or Singapore. That is the part many travelers miss. Airport security in the United States may let your medication through because it is allowed to fly. But once you land, or sometimes when you connect, a different government decides what may enter its country. This matters most with medicines that are routine at home, but restricted elsewhere. Attention deficit hyperactivity disorder medication, opioid pain medicine, anxiety medication, sleep medication, even some cold or allergy products with ingredients that another country controls. The prescription label helps, but it may not be enough. Before you pack, check the official rules for your destination and every transit country. Not a travel forum, not a friend who went last year. Use embassy, consulate, customs, health ministry, or government travel pages. Pay attention to layovers where you may collect bags, change airports, or pass through customs. Then, build a clean paper trail. Original labeled container, prescription copy, doctor letter if required, permit or translated document if the country asks for it. If questioned, keep the sentence simple. I am carrying prescribed medication for personal medical use, and I have the required documentation. Rules change. Some medications need advance approval. Ask your prescriber or pharmacist about legal alternatives before the trip, and never stop or change medicine on your own. And once you know the medicine is allowed, there is one final document mistake that can still slow everything down. The last mistake is assuming the pharmacy label can do every job. It cannot. A label may prove the bottle belongs to you, but it does not always explain the full medical picture. It may not show the generic name. It may not explain why you need an injectable. It may not help a foreign pharmacist replace the medicine if your bag is delayed. And it may not satisfy an officer looking at a large supply and trying to decide quickly whether it matches personal medical use. So pack the explanation before anyone asks for it. Carry a printed medication list and a digital copy. Include brand names, generic names, doses, prescribing doctor, pharmacy, and contact details. Add copies of the prescriptions. For controlled medicines, injectables, medical devices, or complicated regimens, bring a doctor's letter with your name, the medicines, the doses, the medical purpose, and the prescriber's contact information. If questioned, keep it calm. Here is my medication list, prescription copy, and doctor's letter explaining these medicines. One caveat: some countries require certificates, translations, notarization, or advance permits. Put all 7 mistakes together, and the real issue is not the medication. It is the handoff between systems. That handoff is the whole story. Airport security, customs, and foreign medication law are not 3 names for the same checkpoint. They are 3 different questions. Security is asking, can this item go on the plane? In many cases, solid medications are allowed, and medically necessary liquids can travel with extra screening. Customs is asking, what is entering this country? Quantity matters. Packaging matters. Your explanation matters. Foreign law is asking, is this medicine allowed here at all? A valid prescription at home does not automatically make it legal abroad. That is why a traveler can do nothing medically wrong and still get delayed. Not because the medicine is suspicious, but because the explanation arrives too late, in the wrong form, for the wrong official. So the answer to the opening question is not one magic bottle. It is a simple pre-flight system. Here is the system. Before you zip the bag, make the medicine easy to understand. Keep the essentials in your personal item, not checked luggage. Leave pills in labeled containers when you can, and do not travel with loose mystery tablets in a plastic bag. Separate medically necessary liquids, gels, and creams so you can declare them before screening. Keep injectables with the supplies that explain them: needles, pens, alcohol swabs, cooling case. Pack a reasonable personal use amount, plus a small backup for delays, not a suitcase full. Then check the route, not just the destination. A transit country can have its own rules. Before you leave, verify current requirements with the Transportation Security Administration or the Canadian Air Transport Security Authority, your airline, customs authorities, and the embassy or consulate for any country you enter or pass through. Bring prescriptions. Add a doctor's letter when the medicine, device, liquid, or quantity could raise questions. That is why a valid prescription helps, but does not solve everything by itself. The goal is not to look harmless. It is to make your medical need clear in seconds. Save this checklist, share it with a traveling friend, and comment with the one medication packing step you are going to double-check before your next trip. Thanks for watching.